Oh, howdy y'all, grab yourselves a beer, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. Normally I make my videos about advice for players that are already fairly enfranchised in the game. This is a beginner guide though. This is aimed at people that are completely new to the game and are curious as to what you might consider buying from the game's cash store. And particularly wanting to not buy things that aren't going to be necessary for their character, if you're looking to spend less on the game. Now, the cash store does not include any pay-to-cheat mechanisms at all. So there's no XP potions, there's none of that sort of crap that riddles the microtransaction game market. The closest thing to a gameplay advantage that's available is additional storage space. When you start the game, you'll have 4 of these tabs. This is the whole limit of your storage. You'll have 4 of these tabs that are each hold 144 squares worth of items, plus you've got your own 60 inventory slots. And that's the limit of what you can carry. When you purchase more storage space, it will allow you to store items for longer and will also facilitate easier trading with other players. So the first things that people will tend to buy are additional storage space. And I would recommend that this be what you do. Now, there's a number of different stash tabs that exist on the market. Just to demonstrate what they all are, I have all of them except for the unique collector tab. This is the currency tab. It's extraordinarily good. It holds large quantities of various currency items that you'll find throughout the game, and it also has these 14 wildcard slots that can hold all sorts of weird and wonderful, unusual currencies. This is a fragment tab, much less important than the currency tab. This holds various items that can be used in the map device when you get to endgame. This has no use to you until your character is about level 70, and is something that, generally speaking, is a medium importance to purchase. This here is an Essence tab. What the Essence tab does is it stores essences. It's a convenience item only, it's pretty cheap, but it's generally speaking not something that is important to buy at all, especially given that a lot of these essences are basically not really worth picking up. This is a map tab. Maps are an essential part of high-level play in Path of Exile, and this is one of the more expensive tabs, and it's one that you will feel you absolutely must buy once you become really enfranchised in the endgame. For that reason, I'm going to recommend that everyone that plays the game for any extended period buys this, but we'll come back to exact recommendations later. What the map tab does, for the 159 different map items that exist in the game, it allows you to store up to 72 of each of them. It also provides convenient information at a glance about various maps, categorizing them into tiers, and also expands beyond the 159 maps if you get unusual versions of maps that don't normally exist. So here you'll see that the tab contains the 5 normal tier 16 maps, but it also has expanded to include 15 different tier 16 maps that I happen to own copies of in this league. Next up we have the Divination Card Tab. The Divination Card Tab stores divination cards. It can store any number of divination cards that's plausible to acquire, and is something that I think is a fairly good purchase. Well, then we have the Quad Tab, which is basically a normal stash tab except 4 times as big. It's also 4 times the price, and it's a matter of personal preference whether you go with these or just having a larger number of the normal tabs. And I've experimented with both. I think ultimately what it comes down to is your screen resolution that you're playing on. If you're playing on a high resolution screen, then you absolutely should buy the quad tabs instead of the standard tabs. If you're playing on a low resolution monitor, then I would suggest that you stick with the standard tabs. I have a large number of standard tabs from before the quad tabs were available, and so as you can see here, there's a whole lot of them. There are also standard stash tabs which hold any item. They're the 12 by 12 ones, come in 2 forms, premium and standard, and the only ones that I own they've all been upgraded to premium. Premium ones are designed to facilitate easier trading with other players. You'll see here that there's the facility to set an exact price on all items, and here I've chosen 8 Chaos Orbs. That means that any player that has access to the various in-game aggregation websites, which are publicly available websites, can see those items, and then they can send me a message saying, hey, I see that you're selling these Viper Knuckle Hydroscale gauntlets for 8 Chaos Orbs. I'd like to buy that, and let's haggle. And, oh well, usually it doesn't involve haggling, usually it just involves, okay, I'll say yes, and we will meet somewhere. You can also list items publicly visible but without a price listed on them, and or you can just set the name to something else. So you'll see here, Aberrant Project. I recorded a video recently on crafting using aberrant fossils, and I had stacked all of the relevant fossils into this stash tab early on. And then once I had them all and I was ready, I then went and used them all. In any case, that's the different types. There is also one additional option, which is the Unique Collectors tab, and I only recommend purchasing this if you are someone that is a bit of a pack rat that wants to own one of everything. And it's basically a trophy showcase for unique items in the game. It can store 1 copy of every unique item, and you can then try to get the best rolled version that you can. In any case, those are the various stash tabs that exist. Let's have a quick look at what is available in terms of stash tabs that are, in terms of things that are available in the cash store to purchase. And so I'm just going to jump over to a browser, and you'll notice that the game sells what's called supporter packs. What a supporter pack is essentially a number of store points plus a couple of various cosmetic microtransactions. So here is the currently available as of July 2019 Cult of Darkness supporter, and you'll see that this is a $30 pack. It contains this pet that will follow you around on your journeys, and contains it will add this weapon effect, which is a cosmetic that makes your weapon sparkle with that black and orange energy. Most of the weapon effects will look somewhat like that. And you can apply that to all sorts of weapons. And then currently there's an upgraded version of that as well. So there's the Cult of Darkness, Cult of Apocalypse, which contains everything that's in the Cult of Darkness pack, plus a cosmetic armor kit as well. In any case, the $30 microtransaction packs usually include 250 store points at the moment. The $60 US ones contain 550 store points, and then the much higher priced supporter packs sometimes contain a higher percentage of, a higher number of store points per dollar spent. So you'll see here the Vanguard supporter pack is 160 US dollars, quite expensive, and has 1600 store points in it. Empyrean and Crucible is the most expensive available at the moment. In any case, what I would suggest you do if you are new to the game is, first and foremost, you wait until there is a stash tab sale. And at the moment there is one of them on. It's usually announced on the Path of Exile website, and the announcement will look something like this. You'll see here that, although this has a lot of other things in it, there is a super stash sale. During a super stash sale, stash tabs are generally 20 to 30% off. This doesn't mean that the cash price to purchase the microtransaction packs is any lower. Those store packs never go on sale. At least there is no precedent for them going on sale in the history of the game. However, the items that you purchase from the microtransaction store using these points, there is a long precedent for these stash tab sales occurring once every 3 weeks. So wait until one of those sales happens. Now, the frugal option that I recommend is buy a $30 pack. Which $30 pack should just be based upon which of the cosmetics you prefer. So if you like the Cult of Darkness supporter pack aesthetic, you like that weapon effect, then grab that one. If you prefer the Blood Knights aesthetic, then go with that one instead. And you'll see exactly what you're going to get here. These will change, and at the end of the Legion League, which is likely to be about September 10 or so of 2019, these packs will disappear from the store forever and be replaced by something else, which will potentially be better, potentially worse. Who knows? That's just a matter of personal preference. So those packs cost $30 and will award you 250 store points. Now, I suggest that you wait for a sale, and during a sale, that you purchase a map tab, a currency tab, a divination card tab, and 3 premium upgrade tabs. So these turn the 4 free standard tabs that you get when you create an account. Will consume 3 of those and replace them with the premium ones, which are really useful for trading. That's the best combination, the best use of 250 points that I can think of. So that'll cost you $30 US. When should you buy that? My suggestion to you is don't buy anything from the microtransaction store until you're pretty committed with the game. And what I would suggest you do is you stay with your initial stash tabs until you have completed the core storyline and killed Kitava in Act 10, so the end boss of the original part of the game. And beyond that, I want you to at least complete 20 or 30 maps first. Maps will be the end game. That once you complete Kitava, you'll get access to, I guess you could call it Act 11. The game calls it the epilogue, but in practice it is where the majority of the game takes place. At that point, that's when you should spend the $30 on the game if you're still loving it, and buy one of the $30 supporter packs, and buy those wait for a sale, and then buy the map tab, the currency tab, the Divination Card Tab, and 3 premium upgrades. The second option that I want to outline is the medium spender options. And here there's a few more choices. There's a few more combinations that make sense. First up, pick your favorite $60 pack that's available at the time. So if you like the Cult of Apocalypse supporter pack aesthetic, then go for that. If you prefer the Blood Guardian supporter pack aesthetic, which is my preference of the 3 that are $60 packs available at the moment, then go with that. And if you prefer the Pit Fighter aesthetic, then go for that pack. In any case, under the current system that the Path of Exile pricing is set on, you will generally get 550 points, a cosmetic armor set that is based upon the set that you're buying from, some sort of weapon effect, and the key thing being the 550 points. And there'll be some other silly little things as well, like you get the Pit Fighter apparition if you go down that route. You'll get the Cult of Apocalypse Hound, or you will get the wings if you go with the Blood Guardian supporter pack. And I really like this aesthetic. I may end up buying this supporter pack just for the aesthetic of it. Once you've done that, so you've got 550 points to spend. The first thing that you do is, again, you're going to wait for a sale. Wait for a sale unless you're someone that doesn't mind spending $100 or more on entertainment, and then choose one. Firstly buy a map tab, a currency tab, and a divination tab. That's going to cost you 220 points during a sale, and it will definitely be worth it. Leaves you 330 points left, and there's a question of what to use those on. Your first option is to go back to the stash tabs, and still during the sale, buy 2 of the premium stash tab bundle. This is the best option if you have a lower resolution monitor and you really don't care about cosmetic effects in game, because one of the other options I'm going to recommend involves spending some of your points on cosmetics. That'll give you maximum storage space, maximum access to trade convenience, and is a pretty good way to spend your last 330 points. Your second option is to purchase 2 of the quad tabs, which cost 120 each, and then use the last 30 points that you have left over after buying those. So you buy your premium stash tabs, it will take up 240 points. Sorry, at this point you'll have 90 store points left. At this point you'll buy 3 of the premium stash tab upgrades, so that will give you 3 more premium small stash tabs as well as your 2 quad tabs, and then purchase premium stash tabs with all of your remaining points. The final option that I want to recommend is to start again with your map, currency, and divination tabs. Buy a premium stash tab bundle, the 165 point bundle that gives you 6 more stash tabs. Then upgrade all 4 of your standard tabs to premium tabs. So with this approach, you'll have 10 of the premium tabs. And then purchase a herald effect. These are there's a whole section in the store for cosmetic microtransactions that affect your skills. So if I go back to the store homepage in web browser, and then go to skill effects, and then just do a search down it for herald effects. You'll see a number of these on other players in game. They're the most universal of the microtransactions that change a skill, because most builds will use 1 or more herald skills. You can only use 1 herald effect on 1 skill. So if you're running multiple, say for instance you're running 3 heralds on a build, that point you are going to need to own more than one of these if you want to make them all show off and look silly. So for instance, there's the Faith Guard and the Blood Guard are two of the new ones. I personally think the most impressive of them are some of the older ones. The Celestial Herald effect looks stunning in my opinion. The Wasteland and Automaton Herald effects look amazing. The Sin one is amazing. The Innocence one is not so impressive. And the Gore one is pretty mediocre in my opinion. The Divine Herald is also pretty mediocre. And the Purple Herald is mediocre. However, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone has one. Everyone thinks everyone else's one stinks. And you may have very different opinions than I do. What I suggest you do, though, if you're not sure as to what specific herald effect to get, then jump up to the heralds that you're interested in looking up. And I won't do Gore because that is really mediocre. Say you want the Celestial Herald, as I've outlined. You can watch a video on the GGG website that demonstrates what the effect does. And so you'll see there that only when your Herald effect procs, you will see these sorts of effects. So early on, this is Herald of Ash. The next video will be Herald of Ice being used. So these monsters are being frozen and then exploding. And that was the same, that was Herald of Ice again. This is Herald of Lightning with the Celestial Herald effect. You can watch those from inside the store for any of the heralds that sound of interest to you. In any case, the third option that I suggest considering is buying a map tab, a currency tab, a divination card tab, a premium bundle, a herald effect of your choice, and then using your last points to purchase premium tab upgrades. And then more premium tabs beyond that. In any case, if you've got any questions, fire away. If you're certain that you love the game and you're willing to spend more on it, then by all means you don't need to wait until there's a stash tab sale. But they are pretty regularly every 3 weeks. So at the time I'm uploading this video, there's one on right now. Who knows whether that will be the case at the time that you're watching it or not, but they're pretty common. One last quick jump into the game client just to demonstrate exactly how some of these look. And let's also get rid of that Windows icon. So now that you've seen them all, this is the currency tab, this is essential, this is the fragment tab. It's completely optional and I don't recommend it even on a $60 budget. This is the essence tab, optional, only recommended on a $100 budget or higher. Map tab, this is essential, although it is of no use to you until you reach about level 65 for veterans, 72 for newbies. This is a Divination Card tab, this is essential once you get to endgame. And then this is a premium tab, and this is a quad tab. Got any questions? Fire away below. Otherwise, I hope you have a good one.